Thanks for giving Shuri my number.
I do not understand why you cannot just use the communication links Wakanda provided you.
When Wakanda installs emojis, we will. Did you get Bruno's application for the student exchange program?
The program that does not yet exist. It has crossed my desk.
Just, greasing the wheels?
I can see what the others like about you.
Do you prefer, Sir, Your Majesty, Your Grace?
If I say Your Majesty, will you tell my sister?
Probably.
T'Challa is fine.
I know we're kind of old for it, but do you think Shuri would have a sleepover with me?
I am sure she would be delighted.
Yes! Was it hard, closing down Wakanda after A-Day?
Not in the way you might think. Politically, it made sense. But I was mourning a friend at the time. It was difficult to be objective.
Guess kings have to grieve too, huh?
Otherwise, we would not be very good kings. AIM greatly underestimated you, Kamala.
Pretty much everybody underestimates me. Then I grow to the size of a skyscraper and they shut up.
I have a request, Kamala.
For me? Like, an official request from the King of Wakanda? Yeah, name it.
There is a group of Inhumans in Wakanda. Their powers have not been activated, and they are struggling with the decision. I thought perhaps you could speak with them.
Oh, wow.
What of the Great Mount? Are we there?
You have had a lot of responsibility placed on your shoulders for someone so young.
Me? You've been trained to be a king since you were a little kid.
Which means I was prepared. You should not dismiss your own accomplishments.
Oh, Black Panther's giving me a pep talk. Best day ever? Heck.
You returned to the Chimera before anyone else.
I wanted answers. And turns out they weren't there.
Is the trauma of revisiting that place what made you turn?
Partly. Also realizing the limits of my own intelligence.
The Council of Elders wanted you to visit Wakanda almost a decade ago.
Really? Why?
We have dealt with our own share of biological manipulation, and your work is highly regarded.
Well, probably for the best. I seem to be better at causing problems than solving them.
Am I to understand, you were in a relationship with Monica Rappaccini?
Yes.
I have questions, but they may be indelicate.
Have you met the Avengers? Indelicate is practically a requirement. You ever guilty about letting Shuri become so powerful so young?
I did not let her become anything. There was no stopping her. But I assume you are not really talking about my sister.
No, but I don't think she would have let anything stop her either.
Shuri did not invite you into her text chat, did she?
What text chat?
Never mind.
So, I heard you can use vibranium to make what you call a cone of silence, right? Like no sound in or out?
It was most often used in midwifery, but yes.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, is there any chance we could build something, like that around Tony's lab?
His music taste is peculiar. It is true.
Sorry for the wrangling cats comment. I meant no disrespect.
None taken. But dealing with the Avengers is more like wrangling moray eels, I think.
That is true.
Would you ever consider being a guest lecturer at our university?
Wakanda's knowledge of gamma radiation is, I mean, much more advanced than mine.
True. But personal experience can be invaluable.
Well then, I will think about it.
Do you still feel responsible for inhumanity?
I don't think that's one I'll ever shake.
Good. Regret is the sign of a man who reflects on his mistakes and vows to do better.
Thank you. So, did you get that book I recommended?
I did. A quick read, but a good one.
It was 900 pages.
I read often.
There has to be a trick to it.
There is not. I have tried everything.
I used to have top secret clearance in the US government. How is it harder to get into one teenage girl's text chat?
It is good to know that Shuri has higher security standards than your government. I am surprised at how much less foul-mouthed you have become in 5 years.
Yeah, it's hard to stay salty when a certain teenager looks up to you.
We are not thinking of the same teenager, but I agree.
So, did Shuri get my email?
You should ask her yourself.
I know the last round of questions was a lot.
I will put you in touch with some of her technicians. They may have more bandwidth to get back to you.
Yes! So, that voicemail I left right after A-Day?
Already forgotten.
Good, good. Didn't mean to call you a pointy-eared mouse catcher.
What part of forgotten was confusing to you?
I'm just making sure we're both talking about the same voicemail. Hey, ever think about adding whiskers?
I can upgrade my own suit stock.
Tail? How about a tail? Tail would look good.
You know, in my country, this would be considered treason.
Fine, scratch Wakanda off my vacation list.
Indeed. You are definitely not. So, you will keep using the alloy.
Well, vibranium is great, don't get me wrong, but the alloy helps keep everything modular. Makes minor upgrades easier.
Vibranium is recyclable.
Okay, is this about all the old parts in my lab? Because I am not a hoarder, no matter what Bruce says. So, heard you want to tweak the harm room.
It is decent for what it does, but yes, I would like to improve it.
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you?
I know you don't like me very much.
And I thought I was hiding it so well.
I think I figured out why.
Do tell.
It's the beard, isn't it? You're jealous.
The world inside your head must be bizarre, Stark. I was told you could commiserate on the subject of difficult siblings.
Ah, indeed. Has Shuri attempted to slay you? Or perhaps transform you into a toad?
What? No.
I suspect our standards of difficult siblings are not quite the same.
You threw away your crown when you set down the hammer.
It is hard to throw away something that was never yours. I gather you don't approve.
Not at all. I am envious.
I see. Yet perhaps a king who does not want his throne is sometimes the best king for the job.
You speak to them like equals.
Who?
The Avengers. The teenager.
Respect is earned, and they have earned it worlds over.
What do you even discuss?
I must admit, I often cannot follow.
And yet you, my sister allows in her group chat.
I cannot begin to interpret the actions of one of the keenest minds I've ever encountered.
Your reputation does not do you justice, Odan-san.
Is that a compliment? From the King of Wakanda?
Perhaps.
My father often wondered if he should close Asgard's borders.
Why didn't he?
We are too nosy for that.
Thank you for assisting in my experiments. I would borrow Mjolnir myself, but... you know.
I prefer your tests to Stark's.
What does he do?
Mostly, try to blow it up.
Donald Blake, was it?
My alias, yes. Becoming human for a few years was rather freeing.
Luke Charles was mine, when I was at school abroad.
The things we do for a bit of peace.
We had a funeral for you in Wakanda.
Really? I'm touched.
It was a private moment between a small group of us that knew you.
I hope that's how the real one goes someday. Shuri added me to a group text chat.
You are lucky. I've been trying to get into that group for years.
Oh, who else is in it?
Kamala, Thor, Natasha. Apparently, stuffy older brothers need not apply. We have counselors in Wakanda, should you ever need someone to talk to about your time in suspended animation.
Now that's kind of you. But S.H.I.E.L.D.'s already on it. Hill had me seeing a therapist practically a day after San Francisco.
Smart of her. We have been experimenting quite a bit with cryogenic technology, so we have a dedicated counselor for participants.
That's very specialized. Now that we're back at the negotiating table, I still want to discuss a student exchange program.
This is for Kamala's friend, correct?
Well, not just Bruno. There are a lot of kids out of options in the U.S. school system, and there are a lot of small minds that need broadening.
I will consider it. You have my word.
I have to confess something. I met your grandfather, just once during the war.
I know. Black Panthers share knowledge. Memories.
Oh, really? Wait, when we first met, you acted like you hadn't even heard of me.
That was to intimidate you. Clearly, it worked. Okoye speaks fondly of you. Apparently, you have volunteered your services as a punching bag for Dora Milaje trainees?
I didn't exactly volunteer. Captain Okoye is hard to refuse. We could make you up a room on the Chimera. You could even take mine if you want.
I have no trouble commuting back and forth.
I just want you to feel comfortable.
I am comfortable everywhere. I prefer to sleep in Wakanda.
Gotta say, I don't have a lot of experience with royalty. Just let me know if I'm doing it wrong.
For someone not born in Wakanda, you do quite well.
I met the King of England once, during the war.
I would hope you are more comfortable with me. I heard you were undercover at AIM for many years.
Old habits die hard.
You could have warned us about Ulysses Claw.
You wouldn't take my calls.
Fair enough. I do not understand what you messaged me.
Shuri's, you mean? It's a meme. A joke. Kamala taught me.
I know what a meme is. You don't have Shuri for a sister without picking up internet slang.
Well, you don't spend 5 minutes with Kamala Khan without picking up her jokes.
I am impressed. I did not think the Chimera would fly again.
It's a dinosaur at this point, but it has sentimental value.
It takes courage to return to the place that ripped your family apart.
Yeah, but it also brought us back together. I like Okoye. She isn't afraid to stand up to you.
Are you afraid?
Should I be?
Thank you for coming to me with this.
She's your sister. I thought you would want to know.
How many of my childhood photographs has she shared in this group text?
More than 10. Less than 100? It's not fair. I go invisible, you can still find me.
I cannot turn off my enhanced senses.
How are we supposed to spar if it's never a fair fight?
When is a fight ever fair?
You have a point. I have a weird request.
All right.
Do you think I could spar with some of the Dora Milaje?
That would be a question for them, not me. But I am sure they would be open to defeating an Avenger in hand-to-hand combat.
Certainly make an impression, don't you?
I do not know what you are referring to.
Kamala asked you for an autograph, and you gave her a private tour of the training grounds.
I do not think it is a competition.
Sure.
You could add me under a false name.
Dude, give it up. You've had years to get added to Shuri's group text. It ain't happening. Have you been roped into the Tony versus Kamala prank war yet?
The... what?
What? Come on! Really? I thought you'd be all over putting Tony Stark in his place.
I am. I just do not know what you are talking about. We have an archery competition every year in Wakanda.
Is this an invite?
Your compatriots speak very highly of your aim.
It is pretty miraculous. That's true. I'm in. Purple Bros. Purple Pals. Purple Power.
Excuse me?
Nope, nothing. Never mind. Hey, tell Shuri I'm in for the game this weekend.
Ah, you can tell her yourself. What game? Is it poker?
You're so old.
Did you always want to be an Avenger?
Nah. But the uniform's hard to beat, and I make my own hours.
You have no interest in learning how your arrows are made?
I mean, it's more of a need-to-know thing for me. Are they pointy? Can I shoot them? Great. Do they also make rainbows? Double great. So...
Yes?
That's all I've got. It was just getting awkward.
And this is not.
Yeah, good working with you.
Of course it is.
For what it's worth, Shuri didn't add me to her text chat either.
That does not make me feel better. I respect your commitment, Barton.
To what?
A single weapon.
I don't know what I expected. Hey, it's not that I'm not grateful. It's just, it's part of who I am.
I am sorry for offering. It wasn't delicate.
Look, I work with super geniuses every day. You're not the first to ask.
I understand. Nevertheless, I am sorry. Do you prefer sleeping out in the open?
No.
But you have a room you do not use.
I know.
How are the upgraded arrows?
You know, they took some getting used to, but now I don't know what I'd do without them.
I am glad to hear it.
Gotta tell you, King, I'm more of a dog man.
How much were you paid to tell me that?
Kate said 30 if you got mad, 50 if you tried to convince me to change sides.
I wanted to invite Kate Bishop to an archery competition we hold in Wakanda. Would that be appropriate?
You're asking the only other archer in the Avengers?
My apologies. Would you like to watch?
You know what, that hurts.